about this? Like, what do you think are the reasons why now we have more homeless people than back?
Unemployment, like jobs going up. Oh yeah, unemployment.
I would say like the increase of rent that's going on recently, and like gentrification could be a huge
Right.
factor.
Thank you. Anyone else have any theories?
Yeah, like to piggyback off of that, like maybe like displacement as a result of gentrification and stuff.
Yeah.
The lack of fair, the whole concept of that started to trickle down economics. The whole concept of money and finance not being flown thoroughly in an equal way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the rich getting more, the poor getting less. That thing, yeah.
Taxes?
Yeah.
So that all plays a huge role in
I also think capitalism, anti-capitalism and individualism is the part of it. I think, honestly speaking, I think people are becoming more selfish and selfless. So we contract people regardless to people who
Right.
are suffering around us.
Yeah. These are all good answers. I would also say that population has increased since the Great Depression as well, and that's another contributing factor.
Okay, so how many people do you think have been homeless in 2017? If you could
Estimate.
round it
Yeah.
off, estimate it. I'll
1.5
give you
million?
chocolate if that's right. I'm sorry.
1.5 million?
Not yet.
Chill. How many?
100,000.
Okay, Ariel.
200,000.
That's really specific, okay?
Yeah.
600,000? Alright, cool. Alright, let's see. Alright, so it's about 62,692 homeless people, including 15,802 homeless families with 23 homeless children sleeping each night in New York City. You were kind of close.
Yeah.
Close to one. Do you want a chocolate for that? Sorry. I tried.
So what are some primary causes that you guys think can lead to homelessness in families? Yeah.
Not being responsible.
Being responsible with money. Okay.
Yeah.
Could be like, it's like a personal family matter where like a dad kicks you out.
Right. Yep. And we're going to talk about that. Yes.
Addiction.
Yes. Tammy?
Mental illnesses, mental disorders.
Natural disasters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Wow.
guys are all.
Ariel again.
Too many pregnancies.
Whoa. No, yeah, I understand. Yeah. I get what you're saying.
So yeah, there's a lot of studies that say eviction is one of them, housing discrimination, gentrification, lack of affordable housing. A lot of the housings are also very crowded. Escaping an abusive home as well. And those individuals that have also had previous housing in the Army and domestic violence. So housing is obviously one of the main factors that leads to homelessness. In 1990, Albany and the City Hall created like 32,000 homeless programs, affordable housing programs, and only 1 out of 5 actually get into these programs. So this makes it difficult, obviously, for people to find homes. And also, there has been an article that said that about 12% of hotels in New York City are being used for homeless people. So a lot of homeless people are now sleeping in hotels because there's not just a lot of affordable housing or any shelters available and families. But the problem with hotels is that there's no kitchen, there's no privacy, there's nothing really that can support families. So it's very unfortunate that it's the case. And also there are people that get kicked out because there are other people that are willing to pay more rent. So these people have been living in their communities for a long time, and they get kicked out of their homes because there are wealthier people that are willing to pay more rent. And I've had this experience before. I've moved about 4 times from my house. Different communities. It's not like you get another place in the same community. You get moved in other areas, which means you have to switch schools. So I have to go to like 4 to 5 middle schools throughout my life, and that's hard to deal with because you create friendships in a certain community, and you just get more comfortable in a certain community, and it's hard to just move on to different places every single time. So that they raise the rent, and they are people that are coming in that are willing to pay more. So we have no choice but to move on to different places to move in. That's something else that's been going on. And also, domestic violence is also another issue. Not only because of the abuse that's going on, but as well as manipulation, which is also a very powerful part of abuse. Even though there are studies that say that there are couples that stay together even if there is domestic violence. But let's say the partner is saying, if you leave, I'm going to take away all your house, your clothing, everything that you have. And some individuals are going through so much abuse in their home that they can't leave without anything going on. That's another aspect that leads to homelessness. So in this map, it shows how not a lot of boroughs have a lot of rooms in their shelters. The main ones that do is South Jamaica, Bronx, and Brownsville. So for families, there's not a lot of beds, shelter beds in these, most of the boroughs. So only those specific 3 areas have the most beds for families to live in. And as we know, families sometimes need obviously more beds when it becomes difficult, when a lot of shelters don't have enough beds for these family members. So other than housing, there are also many other reasons for homelessness. So we have unemployment, mental illness, like some of you said, crisis, like a personal tragedy that has happened in their life, natural disasters, and family conflict. These are all different aspects that lead to homelessness other than just housing issues. So for unemployment, obviously if you are unemployed, it's very hard to keep up with rent and pay for rent. So this is a factor that contributes to people becoming homeless. Again, family or parental violence and conflict, so sexual abuse, domestic violence, physical abuse, emotional neglect. These are also all reasons that can lead someone to getting kicked out of their home. And there was one person that I know that had to leave their home because they were getting a lot of abuse from their grandmother, who had Alzheimer's. So she just continuously kept emotionally abusing her, and she had to just escape from that, and is now living homeless because of that. And natural disasters. So we didn't expect Sandy to happen. We always said, oh, New York, we're never going to have any hurricanes, we're never going to have any of that. But look what happened, we had a hurricane, and it made a lot of people lose their homes because of that. So it's something to show that we can't always just assume everything's going to be the way you want it to be. You don't have control when there's just things that happen without you being expected for it to happen, which is what happened with Sandy, where a lot of people lost their homes. Yeah. Oh. Yes, and then mental illness is another one. So, for example, if someone has depression, clinical depression, it is hard for them to sometimes get out of bed and go to work. They may feel very drained. They just don't want to be outside. They want to be very low energy. So it's hard to actually go to work, and that also can lead to unemployment and then not being able to keep up the rent and becoming homeless. So, and there are also, people say, but there are also mental institutions where these people can go to if they are mentally ill and homeless. So what do you think is the reason why many people don't want to go to mental institutions? Yeah.
The stigma that follows mental health facilities.
Right. Yeah. Did one another one?
They might have like children and they don't want like to that to affect their children.
Right.
It's almost considered as some sort of, well, not considered, but they kind of relate it to jail. Like, oh, if I go to a mental institution, I'm forced to be there and forced to take all these things that are, you know, against my will, probably.
Exactly. Yeah. Any other thoughts?
They don't want to let go of that freedom that they have in society.
Right.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna basically show, to not stigmatize homelessness, we're gonna show you a list of people that you would think were homeless, but they were. Okay, so I'm just gonna scroll through these really fast. Okay. Halle Berry, you know, we all know her as a great actress, but she did suffer from homelessness in her early 20s. So I didn't know that, whatever. Steve Harvey, the talk show host as well. Under homelessness. He would wash up in hotel bathrooms, gas stations, or swimming pool showers. So, Jim Carrey, one of my favorite comedians, went through the same thing. It was during these tough financial times growing up where he developed his sense of humor. and I'm the type to laugh everything off, so I can relate to her. Houdini, a great magician as well. He ran away from home at the age of 12 and begged on the streets for 20. And he moved to New York City with his father, but they were so poor that they were still on the streets. Oprah, I actually know her. Yeah, she suffered from homelessness as well. She's actually pretty open about it as well, so. Are you familiar who this actor is?
Sam Worthington.
Okay, I'm sorry. But he's a famous actor, been through it as well. Yeah, I mean, I
Oh,
don't
she's.
right? Yeah, learning new things. Before the age of 10, he had to figure out how to make a living on the streets of London. That's a good one. But we've all seen this movie though. It's a great movie. Sylvester Stallone, yeah. I'm gonna scroll down. J-Lo from the Bronx, yeah. Yeah, wanted to be a dancer, went to college. Yeah, I'm just gonna continue. Okay, so you guys get the picture though. There are some celebrities that have gone through. Okay. So can you guys think of some homeless hotspots in New York City that you guys might? Like just an area in New York City where you think there's a lot of homeless people.
The subway.
Wow. Be more, a little bit more specific about the location though. Yes.
By Port Authority.
Okay.
I was gonna say Rochester.
Liam. Where?
Somebody stole mine.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys, I mean, not like right up the block from here, the Starbucks on 9th Avenue. No, there's always a homeless person trying to, you know, open
Yeah.
doors for the Starbucks.
Yeah.
And then it's always there, yeah.
Ariel, you might know a place actually, Ariel.
There's a neighborhood, I don't wanna like.
Yeah, neighborhoods.
Yeah.
No, straight in Fulton, Corona.
Yeah.
Right next to the GameStop.
Okay. So these would be 4 hotspots that we found about. Chelsea, Florida.
Wow.
That's what I said, Ariel.
My bad.
Coney Island.
People expand these to Coney Island as well. A lot of people lost their homes.
Yeah.
Coney Island.
Right by the beach. So.
Brooklyn.
Okay.
So what are some groups of people that you think are more prone to becoming homeless and experience homelessness?
I was gonna say the mentally, wait, what's the people like
You were going in the right path.
I was just gonna say the mentally ill.
Okay.
Because some people they don't have like housing. Obviously they don't have housing, but like some of them like come from jail and things like that, and they don't really have the means to like get an apartment and like do all that stuff. So they come home.
A lot of homeless people suffer from schizophrenia.
Yeah, that's true. Yep. The LGBT.
That's a very name.
Anybody else?
Minority.
Yes.
Yep. Wow, you guys kind of hit it off.
Yeah. So then, yeah, these are the main minorities of the LGBTQ community, substance abuse and substance abusers and veterans are the main.
So we're gonna say a little bit of each group.
Yeah. So race and homelessness. So approximately 58% of New York City homelessness shelters are African Americans. So they're the majority that are unfortunately homeless. 31% are Latinos and 7% are white, and less than 1% are Asian Americans and 3% of unknown race. So African American is clearly one of the highest percentages for being homeless, and there are multiple reasons for that. One of the main reasons is housing discrimination. So there are a lot of policies that have been made that stock affordable housing through urban renewal projects, but this displaces a disproportionate amount of people. There's also segregation, residential segregation. So there are communities that just don't want to be, because of their stereotypes and biases, they don't want to be, like, live in a home that's near African Americans. And they're also being placed in areas that don't have many services, employment, and this obviously leads to becoming homeless if they can't find any services because they don't have opportunities and jobs, it'll be harder for them to pay their rent. And also the education and attainment that's done by the African Americans. So that also leads to homelessness. If you're not finishing your education for all these different reasons, it becomes harder to get a job and then to pay your bills and everything like that to become homeless. So one of the main ones that we found are the LGBTQ communities. The other day, I met like so many homeless people because I work with homeless people. So it was a 12-year-old that came in and she said that she was kicked out of her home because she finally opened up to her parents that she was a lesbian. So her mother just kicked her out and didn't want her in the house anymore. So Karen is now going to talk to you more about your experience.
So yeah, so this is one of the big groups that undergo homelessness actually, basically mainly because of what Ashley was saying, when somebody comes out, their families usually turn their backs on them. But even with that, when they do seek out for help or shelter, especially with transgenders, because there's a stigma, these shelters turn their backs on even transgenders. They're not as accepting, they're not as open. As the PowerPoint says, 40% of youth experiencing homelessness identify as LGBTQ, and from that 40%, 10% of that population. Yet it's confusing. Like there's so many homeless people just in that 10%. So it's just hard. I mean, being a part of this community, I know what it feels like to be turned away from. So this really hit home for me. And it's even tougher for them to just find a type of resource that is as accepting as them. So that's why they always bounce from shelter to shelter just to find some type of home acceptance or anything like that. So this is mainly why, because of being discriminated against and everything, it's more of a struggle for them to find a home when they have no kind of support system. And then there is substance abuse and homelessness. So basically, when I did research on this, there is a huge stigma that almost everyone that is homeless suffered through a substance abuse. That's not always the case. Usually because of the stress of being homeless, it has this bad effect that you could turn to like drinking or drugs, making you forget about what you're going through and everything. So there is that stigma, but so usually this group, they do suffer. This homeless group suffers a significantly higher than the general population with drugs and drugs. But it's not always that all homeless people have an addiction problem. So that's a stigma that we're also trying to educate you guys on. Just because they're homeless does not mean that they're always on drugs. But it's just, that's their way of coping, because when you have nobody, you're left alone, who do you turn to? There's nothing, so turn to drugs and something to ease the pain, basically. And then there's veterans and homelessness. So they make up 1/3 of the male homeless population, at least. Among this population, about 46% are white, 56% are African American or Latino. So a majority of this group are single, live in urban areas, and suffer from mental illness or alcohol and or substance abuse. So usually, veterans suffer from things like PTSD or other mental illnesses. When they come back, it's hard for them to find a stable job or just even a stable home. So a lot of them do undergo homelessness as well. And I feel like people tend to forget about that because they do fight for our country and everything, but what happens when they come back from all that, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's another group that this.
And we also have a guest speaker, by the way, that's going to talk about his experience as a veteran who is homeless.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of people don't believe that there are homeless students, and it's very surprising. The statistics show that at more than 58,000 students are actually homeless and on the verge of becoming homeless. So,
So what do you think are the main reasons as to why college students are homeless?
what are some factors that you think contribute to college students becoming?
Yes.
Tuition, yeah.
That's a big one.
Their families don't help them, so they have to